Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another review here on the channel. Last time we took a look at one of my most sought after characters in the line thus far, being the event exclusive Goku Black, or as we can also call it, Goku Black Rose. Pretty fitting name I think, since it doesn't come with a base form head. Anyway, today we're taking a look at yet another counterpart to any Goku figure, and that is the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta, or let's just call it what we always call it now, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta 2.0. Now before we get into it any further guys, make sure you check out the top 5 poses Marvel series with my boy Spider-Man kicking things off. Anyways, I think this figure is actually another iteration of a character fans have been waiting for some time, especially since the 1.0 Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Goku came out quite a while back during the early stages of Dragon Ball Super. And even though they're on the 1.0 body molds, they sport some heftier prices on the aftermarket nowadays. But now, lo and behold, we have a brand new spanking 2.0 version of Vegeta's new go-to transformation, and what's more is we get for the first time ever a Super Saiyan Godhead for him as well. But how does it all stack up to the previous Vegeta releases? Does it actually hold up, guys? There's only one way to find out. Let's get into it. Hey guys, if you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and definitely ring a ding ding that bell notification button. It helps the channel grow and it helps me bring you guys a lot more. So, just taking a look at the packaging, nothing new, still keeping in theme with the new revamped 2.0 packaging, but I do think they did a much better job at showing some potential poses here than they did on the Majin Vegeta box. But enough of the box guys, let's get to the crack the freshness moment and take a closer look at Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta 2.0. Alright, so right off the bat, I don't know if it's just me or just because this is the very first figure I've technically unboxed in a long time since the event exclusive Goku, but this figure feels like it has a little bit more weight to it than I was expecting. Definitely not a bad thing. And I mean, on my first impression of things, I think they did a really good job, and just like the sculpt and the paint and everything like that, it really comes together. There's no obvious glaring flaws, that step off right off of unboxing him. But I'm sure, as with any other 2.0, it does pose some problems here and there. Let's get into it further. So like I was saying, definitely a nice surprise with this figure, and I must say, in terms of being a step up from the 1.0 Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta with regard to the facial paint apps, it's definitely got an edge here. It definitely doesn't look as washed out in the face as the previous version did. Don't worry, we'll get to the comparisons later and everything. But a few things come to mind here that I heard people complaining about with the event exclusive Goku Black that I have to say, unfortunately, have carried over to this Vegeta figure. And I'll touch on those in a second, but let's talk about the positives first. I think Tamashii did a very nice job in capturing the superficial aesthetics of Vegeta in figure form here, and I'm happy to see that they kept the sculpted lines in the hair so it doesn't all look like just one piece. In terms of the colors and paint apps, they look well done for the most part. No real issues with bleeding or specks as far as I can see on this one. But what I wanted to get to was that, 1, the hair is metallic, so what are people saying about that? And 2, I don't know if I'm feeling the armor paint app on this, guys. I mean, I get that it's referencing the movie as its source, but the shade of gray that they went with here looks like it's very specific to a portion of lighting you'd see from specific scenes, and if you're used to seeing Vegeta's chest plate in white like I am, it doesn't look quite as natural right off the bat. Not saying it's horrible, but that's just my factual opinion here. But anyways, enough about the figure's general appearance, let's zoom in and take a closer look at the faceplates and their apps. So zooming in right here, I'm quite content with how the face looks. It resembles Vegeta undoubtedly, however I feel like they should have contrasted the blue in the pupils a bit better. It looks like it melds with the eyebrows a little bit and the rest of the face a little bit more, but again, I mean, compared to the first iteration of the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta head, it does a much better job of just overall looking sharper. Just elaborating on the point comparing the Super Saiyan Blue to the Super Saiyan Godhead a bit further, if the camera will focus up there, you see how the red irises have a little bit more contrast. Granted, it's a different color, but the blue Super Saiyan Blue head just kind of looks a little bit more washed out. I think if they went with a little bit more of like a cerulean kind of edging around the pupils and whatnot, could have gave it a little bit more pop. But again, it's not a major complaint, just something I think would have spiced up the figure that much more. Moving downwards, I think the shoulders were very well done on this Vegeta. They may be reused, but the darker jumpsuit makes them look a little slimmer, which they should be based on the artwork from the movie. And again, as for the rest of the body, it looks a little bit too bulky, but I'm assuming this is the same body from Super Vegeta that we're seeing again here. If anything, I feel like this figure makes a better Super Saiyan Blue evolution figure rather than the typical Super Saiyan Blue transformation. Overall, guys, if you're looking at this figure's ability to serve as a definitive depiction of Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, I'd give this figure a solid 8.5 out of 10. The 1.5 deducted comes mainly from the aesthetics, throwing off my affinity for the figure just slightly. I can't get behind the darker chest plate like I was saying, and I think having a bigger contrast between it and the darker jumpsuit would have looked very clean. However, at the end of the day, this is still undoubtedly a definitive Vegeta figure that you can get away with nonetheless. Alright, now in terms of articulation, I'll keep it short and sweet, guys. Nothing new here. You know, the head goes all the way around. 2.0 articulation exists within the elbows, shoulders, and wrists as usual. The swivel around the torso is that much the same, as well the same degree as ab crunch and extension. And I think just with the rest of 2.0 figures in general, the limitation here comes from the ankle. You can't really do craziness with it too much. They improved upon it with this a little bit, but they're very prone to being snapped off from time to time, so just watch out for that. So in terms of the hands and faces we do get a decent amount here. The largest difference being that we get 2 transformations this time around, which I don't think has really ever happened for a Vegeta figure in this line. I mean, not even the 1.0 Super Saiyan Blue came with a base form head, unlike the 1.0 Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Come on. Taking a look at what we do get here though, we have the neutral / stern looking face, a teeth gritting face, and of course the yelling powering up face. And now we also of course get the smirk with the Super Saiyan. Now we also get this clean looking smirk with the Super Saiyan Godhead, which I actually think was kind of a weird choice, as I can't remember him smirking too much when we finally did see him in this form. Personally, I would have rather seen this smirk on the Super Saiyan Blue head to recreate scenes from the Tournament of Power, but hey, it is what it is. We still got that nonetheless. And like I was saying, with all of these face plates here, they did a much better job of just, you know, getting the overall sharpness and differentiation between the eyes, nose, and mouth, much better than the 1.0 Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. But I mean, I think they could have highlighted the irises and the pupils and the eyes a little bit better by having a little bit more contrast there. Now, I don't want to seem like I'm cutting the figure up too much, because I'm not trying to, and overall the Super Saiyan Godhead came out great. I really like the shade of red hair and how it turned out as well. And I will say, at least the metallicness between the Super Saiyan Godhead and the Super Saiyan Blue head seems like they came out pretty consistent. With regard to the hands now, we get a total of 4 pairs of hands, ranging from the fists, the martial arts hands, the grappling hands, and some open blast hands, as well as the thumbs up hand that we saw with the 2.0 Super Vegeta release. And yes, of course, we also get the inclusion of crossed arms, which really walks the line between being an accessory and more so hands. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the selection here. And so speaking of those crossed arms, just a quick look at them here. I think they came out pretty clean looking. There's no real like outstanding blemish or anything, and I really like how they look. Alright, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of this review. How does this one stack up against its predecessor? Now, right off the bat, one thing I noticed is the hair. I think it goes without saying that not only is the body on this 2.0 Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta much better, but so is the sculpt of the hair. I mean, it's a shame it took so long for us to get a different hair sculpt than the one we've seen on the previous 2.0 Vegetas, because I think this new Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta's hair would have been perfect for a Super Saiyan 2 hair sculpt as well. It's just overall more refined and straight looking than the previous versions. Anyway, it's a bit of an apples and oranges situation we have going on here, as we have 2 different outfits. But hands down, the paint apps look to be much more saturated and vivid as opposed to the 1.0 Vegeta. And now the biggest positive for me is probably just that the face, like I was mentioning, looks a lot more sharper here. All in all, this guy was definitely a step in the right direction. Now, I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of swapping out a couple of body parts here, namely the heads on different bodies, just to show you guys, I really do think that this body here, the one that we did the review on, is much more suited to the regular Super Saiyan Vegeta here. It just looks so clean. Look at that contrast. On the other hand, this one looks a lot more streamlined and just meshes well that much more together. And just to show you what it would look like if you were to try and take the 2.0 Vegeta head and put it on the 1.0 body, it doesn't sit too well. It's actually very wobbly. But I mean, it looks clean too. I mean, if you wanted to get away with this look, you definitely could try to pull this off. And now just for fun, I've gone ahead and put the Super Saiyan God head on Majin Vegeta's body and vice versa. Probably the last thing you'd want to do, but again, it's probably most fitting for the expression this face comes with. Alright, so there you have it guys. That's my review on the new Super Saiyan Blue 2.0 Vegeta. At first, I thought this figure was a bit more of a letdown than I do now, but after making the executive decision to swap out some heads, it isn't as bad. And let me rephrase that. If this is the only Vegeta figure you have, then I still think the 2.0 Super Saiyan Vegeta is still the best in terms of a definitive look for the character. However, this figure is by no means a horrible one. It's definitely a step up from the 1.0, that's for sure. And I don't see, well, hopefully anyways, Tamashii needing to release another Super Saiyan Blue figure for a while. Unless, of course, they decide to do the whole Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta thing. But that will require a brand new sculpt for everything, so I doubt we'll see it for some time. Anyways guys, make sure you stay tuned for the top 5 poses Goku Black Edition, and you know what I always say, may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Peace.